Wintervale. On this episode, we talk about WoW 8.1, we talk about podcasting, and so much more. Let's start the GNOME Train.
Welcome to FrazlCast, a podcast by a Blizzard fan gnome about World of Warcraft and geeky stuff. I promise you, they do talk about the World of Warcraft. They just go off the rails sometimes.
Hello, Internet. It is Frazley the Awesome Gnome. Each week I am joined by awesome people from Azeroth and beyond. Let's use my customized ultra-safe transporter to head on over to meet up with this week's guests. So I am coming to you from the Lazy Turnip. It's time for a Storm Stout, as I am joined by Professor Taliep and Toshmifune of the Halfhill Report.
How you doing, Fraz?
I am doing awesome. That's a great question. It reminds me of a good story. You know, there was one time I was meeting up with some people at a Kroger. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of good coffee.
Where are we going with this, man? Are you all right? Are you having a stroke? What's happening?
I was trying to do the opening to the Halfhill Report, and I couldn't do it.
Welcome to the Halfhill Report.
And today's letter is from Susie Carmichael.
What a great question, and thanks for writing.
I think with that, there's no better segue than to say Epicinsanity.
What time is it?
It's time to go around the table.
Great idea. So what have you been up to recently?
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you, Frazley, on passing your exam.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sure that it was very well done, and I'm sure I would have enjoyed reading every word of it. Actually, your next course sounds fascinating, and I'm really pleased to hear that you're getting started on the studying right away.
Show off. Curve buster.
Okay, funny story with that, actually. I missed the deadline for the next exam, but I found out I can buy the textbook ahead of time. I was going to take off all of January and kind of have a nice January. I was like, wait a second. I'm registering for the exam window, so now I don't have January off.
Well, good to get started early.
Absolutely.
And as for us, we've been having a great time, particularly on Wednesday evenings. We've been playing with the North America Girls Gone WoW group. Girls Gone WoW is a British podcast. Probably most people have heard of it. They have an affiliate, a group that gets together on Wednesday evenings to do raids and dungeons and just enjoy the time together. And since Tasha and I never raid and avoid doing dungeons, this is a great opportunity for us to see content that we don't normally see. And everybody's really nice and helpful and friendly, and so we've been having a great time.
They are a great group of people.
The last thing I wanted to say is that I've been extremely lucky with pets and mounts recently. First of all, Tashi bought me the Vulpine Familiar as an early Christmas present, so it's been really fun riding that around. Then we did the Darkshore Warfront, and I got a pet and a toy and the Caldori Nightsaber.
Nice.
So it's been a good week.
Yeah, that is a gorgeous mount.
And do I understand it right that if Vulpyr became an allied race, that would be one that you would roll next?
Absolutely. I think that'd be great fun. And I already have the mount.
The cool thing about that mount, it looks like Frosty Fox's cosplay costume. So it's almost like Frosty has a character in the game now.
Hang on a second. Now, if you roll a Vulpera and you ride the Vulpine, isn't that like riding your cousin to Fred Meyer? Something doesn't seem right there somehow.
Maybe it'll be racial locked where Vulpyr can't ride it. There was somebody who was riding a turtle, and like the Tortolan looked shocked in this one picture, like, what are you doing?
If I ever see a Tortolan riding a turtle mount, my head will explode.
Yes. Hey, Tortolan aren't shellfish.
First pun of the night.
Yes.
Racket. That was good. Well done. Well played, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Facepalm.
I like all the low-hanging fruit because I can reach it.
So my very hectic 60-hour work week year at work is officially wrapped up as of yesterday afternoon. So as of today, I'm off for the year-end holidays until January 7th. So I'm really looking forward to some rest, and especially looking forward to spending time with my family, my family out in California, and of course going to see my daughter and her husband and my grandson up in Phoenix. So very much looking forward to that. Today has been the first restful day I've had in quite some time. On the WoW front, no pun intended, we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but really enjoying the heck out of 8.1. Working on reputations, grinding that out. Got my first Exalted. What did I get it on Taliep? 7th Legion.
Yeah.
Nice.
Got that first Exalted with 7th Legion. Taliep, you have 2 already, right? You've got Order of Embers and Proudmoore. So it's gotten 2 mounts, 2 horsies.
2 horses.
2 horses. The Proudmoore one is really pretty.
Alliance needs more horses.
Yes.
Can't have too many horses.
Can never have too many horses.
Nay.
Oh, that's 2. That's 2, folks. If you're keeping score at home, that's 2 puns on the night.
He's ahead of you by 2.
I'm not even going to try and keep up with this guy. And so grinding out those reputations and, of course, continuing to level everybody's favorite Draenei food and lodging critic, Velmic, who, when he's not reviewing ins for the Halfhill report, he is a level 117 disc priest. And this is really the first time I've seriously pursued healing. Haven't done it in any large groups yet. Probably going to try that out in a 5-man for the first time with the Girls Gone Wild North American group. Shout out to everybody on there, by the way. So looking forward to getting him up to 120 and trying some healing. I'm discovering the joys of keeping atonement cast on people and using HealBot. I thought it would be, well, it's probably harder than I think it is, but I'm enjoying the heck out of it. Like I said, right now he just heals his cousin Demesis and her pet Jake. But again, looking forward to getting with that in a larger group.
And it's lovely having our personal healer.
It's always nice knowing somebody that you're like, you can depend on them, or if they let you down, you can actually yell at them and they won't feel bad.
Yeah. Outside of WoW, for those kind of out there in the nerd community, I discovered a pretty cool, actually, superhero / action series on Netflix called The Protector. I'm about 3 episodes in and really enjoying the heck out of it. Very much along the lines of the Marvel TV Universe Defender series, you know, the Daredevil, Luke Cage, those series. Unlike Iron Fist from that series, the star actually has a personality. Turned it on. It just came up on Netflix as a suggested for you. I'm watching it. I'm watching the screen. I go, what's wrong with this? The audio and the video are out of sync until about 10 minutes in when I realized, oh, this wasn't recorded in English. It was actually, was originally filmed in and produced in Istanbul in Turkey. And now I switched it over to subtitles. And I'm enjoying the heck out of it. It's really much better watching it in the original language and subtitles. It's pretty cool. If you get Netflix, you should check it out.
I was watching a series that was about zombies in the same way. It was like the end of the world, and it was filmed. I was trying to figure out why the audio wasn't synced up, and it's kind of cool. Netflix is introducing us to stuff that I would not have normally thought to watch in that same vein.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got one question.
Sure, go ahead.
Why is it filmed in Istanbul and not Constantinople?
Oh, no. Really? Really? Wow. That was excellent, sir. That was the peak. That one's gone over the right field wall and still traveling clean out of the park.
That goes way back.
That goes way back.
So that fun might be giants.
Oh, my God. That's right. They did cover that, didn't they?
Yes.
I forgot that they covered that. Yeah, that was originally recorded, I think, by the Four Lads.
Okay, I need to listen to their version because I know the They Might Be Giants version because I used to do a work camp, and when I went there, they would play that at 6 a.m. in the morning to wake us up. That, and they would play Bop, Bop by Hanson.
Oh my God, Hanson! You woke up to Hanson?
Yes. Oh, it is nightmarish.
That's a nightmare you wake up screaming from.
Yes. The same way that when I finished my exam last week, it felt like, ooh, it was all done, because this was one of my last courses that was more vague. So marketing and communications, it's not niche. So you don't know what they're going to cover on the exam. You just got to know everything. So now on the next one I'm starting out, it'll be public relations, thought, and practice. And I like that because I think going forward, communicators do need to know how to relate to the public. What are we saying? What are we experiencing? I think YouTubers, then especially, would benefit by going through public relations. What is your impact on what you say to other people?
I'm sorry, what did you say? I wasn't listening.
That would actually seem to be the heart of the matter, wouldn't it?
Yes. No one's listening when everyone's talking. That's the great thing about the internet, though. And the internet also has a cool thing. You can play games online now and not have to have it on your computer. So Ubisoft sent me an email Friday night saying if I were to play more than an hour from that email of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I would be able to get it for free once January 15th comes out. So I put in about 3 hours and really enjoyed it. And the tech itself, I'm excited for where it's going, because one day I think we'll be at the place where we won't have to have a computer. It's funny. We go from mainframes to personal computers. Now we're heading back to mainframes. That's the insane thing.
Is it a download? It's just you're operating basically as a terminal?
Yeah, because Chrome has a lot of technology inside of it in the browser. So it's using the ability to stream your gameplay. It's doing on the back end some calculations to know, okay, here's how I'm going to send you this footage and make it look real time. But basically, you press a link and you're playing a game on some server at Google.
All right. So everything's server side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
For the most part, it was pretty good. I mean, there are a few points where my character would I'm trying to move this way. My character keeps getting the data to move the other way. And I'm like, no, stop it.
Huh. Interesting.
So it is exciting for the technology. And I was like, hey, a free game.
Yeah. Oh, so there's no client side processing. It's all
server, which is the only issue is your internet has to be fast enough. And my internet has sometimes acted weird. Like sometimes I will have weird issues. So it's not there yet for everybody. It's exciting for where the future is going to go.
Yeah, that's kind of back to the future kind of stuff. I mean, that's how everything used to be.
Yeah, I remember my dad when he was in college, because he is older. He's about 68. He helped set up the mainframe here in Columbus at Otterbein. They would work with Battelle. So Otterbein had a deal with Battelle that when Battelle wasn't using it for all of their science-related military projects, Otterbein could use all of their mainframes for Otterbein students to study. So it's weird that we're heading back to that.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
So I probably could do it on my 72 download.
At that point, you have enough download and you just need consistent upload for data, but you're not sending a lot to Google. And then I've been playing a WoW a lot recently. And I think that's a great segue to ask, what has our experience with 8.1 been so far?
Well, personally, I really love the whole expansion. I've just really enjoyed almost everything about it. I love questing and pet battles and transmog and that sort of thing. So most of the real controversies have just gone totally over my head. They're kind of not relevant to my gameplay. I've enjoyed the visuals, the questing. They have put in so many different kinds of quests. And often, like one of a kind, they have developed a whole questing system for this one quest that they don't use. Then again, I mean, maybe they, do somewhere else, but they're just, so many of them are unique. Penguins.
Oh, that is the best. Penguin Luge.
Yeah.
I love that one.
It's so far my favorite world quest.
So like the lack of Azerite power hasn't been an issue for me since my eye level keeps increasing and the mobs get easier, and that's really all I care about. I just haven't had that kind of a problem. I sort of don't understand people who rush through all that questing that's out there and then have wound up at this early point in the expansion with nothing to do, because there's just so much out there. I do admit Blizz has been a bit stingy with the rewards.
Yes.
I'm thinking particularly about the mule and Dustvar, which I don't have yet and would like to get.
Please give this woman the Dustvar mule. If I could have bought it for you for Christmas, I would have given it to you along with the Vulpine Familiar. I've been hearing about this since the expansion started.
He's tired of hearing about it. Sorry. Anyway, they do appear to be fixing the drop rates in 8.1. I really can't complain about that. And then, as I said earlier, I got all that stuff when we did the Warfront. And I would like a better weapon. My weapon is still pretty low level, but other than that, I'm really enjoying it.
I feel the same way. I have loved this expansion from the day it dropped. I'm really enjoying the Darkshore Warfront. I'm enjoying it quite a bit more than the Arathi Highlands, even though I was able to mine the Arathi Highlands, no pun intended, mine the Arathi Highlands for, no, I take it back. Absolutely pun intended. That's for you, Frazley. For some storylines for the Halfhill report, which that storyline, if you pay attention to the show and you listen to the show, there's an ongoing storyline that we're going to pick up on out of the Arathi Highlands. But I found that particular one very confusing. Running around trying, okay, what am I supposed to be doing here? Am I defending a gate? Am I capturing a town? Am I, just collecting wood and iron? I just found that one terribly, terribly confusing. From what I've heard, I don't think we're the only ones that had that experience. So the Darkshore Warfront, first of all, the cinematic going into that was just amazing. So I was very excited about that. I just felt it cleaner, smoother, easier to understand. And we've gone in there a couple of times now, farming rares, really enjoying that quite a bit. And as we've mentioned a couple of times, shout out to the North American Girls Gone Wild group, Wednesday nights. They're a great group of folks, and they're helping Taliep and I finish the Jaina Proudmoore quest line so that we can get to the Siege of Borealis, which I'm really excited about. We made a lot of progress on that today, just Taliep and I. A little quality of life changes that I think the biggest one for me is the scrapper. I don't know if you've noticed, Fraz, or anybody in the chat room. Now, when you go to use the scrapper, it hides everything in your bags that's not scrappable, which is a really, really good thing, because a couple of weeks ago, I scrapped a whole stack of stringy loins and they had to shut down the scrapper for like a couple hours. It was a mess. It was really ugly. Everybody was really mad at me. So I thought that was a pretty good quality of life improvement. One of those little things, the little details, we noticed it and I thought, oh, this is brilliant.
Everybody has you to thank for that.
I could see the devs. Wait, stop. What's he doing? Oh, God. Okay. Shut down the scrapper. Oh, this is going to be a mess. Enjoying the incursions. We've defended Borealis against one horde incursion so far. That was pretty quick, easy, and enjoyed it. You really feel like you're genuinely part of a true ongoing war event. And enjoying that. As Taliep said, they've improved the reward drop rates. Still, same thing, though. Am I going to get a better weapon so far? Because so far, the whole Azurite necklace thing, the Azurite armor that I have, I recognize if I was a raider, I'd probably be getting higher level Azurite empowered gear. But, like today, I dinged 31 on my Heart of Azeroth. All my rings are filled up. So I'm like, okay, well, that's nice. What was the point of that? Maybe I go to Magni here in a couple of weeks and he boosts it again 15 eye level. It's 15 levels or something. But that I find a little grindy. And honestly, I'm not paying a lot of attention to it because, as Taliep said, it doesn't really seem to affect my gameplay. It does feel like they're kind of, divorced dad at Christmas time, overcompensating with the Azurite power now, though, because like they've doubled or tripled, the amount of Azurite power rewards they're giving. A little overcompensating on that. But so far, expansion, zero complaints. If anything I said came off as a complaint, absolutely not. Enjoying the heck out of it.
I'm glad to hear you've been enjoying the expansion, because I just realized we were on the pre-expansion hype when you were last on. And
yep.
I would say, as a content creator, and I bet you would agree, it has been a fun expansion on all the stuff we've been able to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the stuff we've gotten out of this expansion for the show in terms of all the stuff that has happened with Eamon, the stuff that has happened with Rizak, the stuff that is going on with Daolin. It's just really expanded the world and opened up new stories to tell. So, Frazley, over to you, man. What are you thinking? How are you enjoying it? I've been watching you play, so I think you're enjoying it.
Oh yeah, I've really been enjoying 8.1, and since the alt stuff came up, I was like, you know what? I want to finally work on my Dark Iron. I unlocked it during an episode of All Things Azeroth while I was listening to that show, because hat tip to Allie. I'm pulling over to the chat.
Hi, Allie.
Allie is a host. I've been having fun with the Dark Iron because it's fun leveling alts, because you pretty much know everything that's going on. I mean, you might pick up lore here and there, but you can just have a fun time. So I expected to be maybe at like 35 by now. I am at 57 on my Dark Iron Paladin.
Wow.
It seems like it's picked up on the amount of XP that we're getting since the last time I've tried leveling alts, did my first island expedition. I meant to do more, but I got a giggling flame. I love the little water elementals and the elementals from Mr. Pandaria, so it was fun getting a flame one because it's red, and I love red. I'm Alliance, but I love red.
What pet did you get the other day, Taliep? Which was the one that you got when we were doing, was it in the Warfront or?
Yeah, the Hydro something droplet.
Oh, that was it. Off that rare in Darkshore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
You got some of the rares on Darkshore. I forgot about that. I did the Warfront, but I forgot about actually going around. So I'm looking forward to that. But the last time we had you on, forget where you were in your journey with the Halfhill report. So you are at episode 47 now? 40,
yeah. We dropped 46 last weekend. This weekend will be episode 47, right? Can I do that math? Yeah. So yeah, this weekend will be episode 47.
Nice. And that is a huge accomplishment. I mean, that is almost 1 year of time, because if you do one every week, that's a lot of stuff put into it. And it's been fun seeing the show grow. I was curious, what was the biggest challenge you've had to overcome?
For those that don't listen to the show, who might be listening to this live or catching it later, the Halfhill Report, it's a scripted show. It's a fictional radio broadcast from the village of Halfhill. We brand it as a small town view of a very large world. But it is a scripted show, and even though it's short, episodes, range from right around 15 minutes, maybe a little less, maybe a little more week to week. But that's a year worth of, that's 46 or coming up on 47 weeks of scripted story. There are story arcs that progress throughout the show. Some of them are short, couple episodes. Some of them are very long. Some of them have been going on almost since the beginning of the show. Continuity can be a challenge. I will make Taliep crazy. I can hear her grinding her teeth and rolling her eyes as I go back. Wait a second. We're not keeping with continuity, and I'll stop down in the middle of a script writing and go take 30 minutes going back through old episodes. Wait a minute. No, it was in episode 27 that we said this, and I can't retcon that. I got to get that right. It's because, we don't want to repeat. And sometimes we even work it into the show. Velmic was doing a review of the Laughing Yeti. The two of us visit as we write the script. We go there and go into the Laughing Yeti, and I'm standing there and we're working on the script. And I said, wait a second, we've been here before. That I've already done this in. Taliep said, no, you haven't. I said, yeah, it must have. And where did we figure out it was identical to?
Gadget Zan.
And so we actually worked that into the show. We made that part of the review that he did of the Laughing Yeti. But that is becoming a challenge as the show goes on and it progresses longer and longer. Most recently, for those of you that follow the Mighty Mushians of Halfhill Agricultural College, throughout their, I don't even remember how many week season they played, I had to constantly keep track of what other school they played, what was the score, what's their record. And I've also made some very serious lore gaffes. I mean, I go back and listen to some early episodes and I'm like, oh no, did I really say that? How is the internet not just absolutely dumping on me at the moment? But thank goodness for Wowpedia. Yay, Wowpedia. And P.S., if anybody from Fandom out there is listening, for those of you that don't know, Fandom, who owns WowWiki, just bought Wowpedia. And I'm terrified because not a fan of WowWiki. And Wowpedia that's my Bible. That's where I go for canon.
I'm the same way. I heard that on Monday on All Things Azeroth. I'm thinking, yikes. And then Allie brought up the fact that Allie uses that as a resource for Dungeon Fables. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be an interesting time. But I did hear that Wowpedia may actually take the data and make another one.
Well, I mean, hopefully Fandom they kind of recognize that WowWiki is kind of weak. And what they're doing is they're buying capability. They're buying a better brand and they leave it alone.
Hopefully.
I think the biggest challenge was just the idea of doing a podcast. I've listened to podcasts for years, but it never in a million years would have occurred to me to do one. Sending a voicemail to Girls Gone Wild was a big deal for me. So moving to doing a whole podcast. But I've always been a consumer of content, so I suppose it's time I contributed. I was a little taken aback when Tashi suggested it, but it turns out to be great fun. But there was kind of a leap for me to make there, a hurdle to get over to become a podcaster.
Would you say that hurdle is imposter syndrome?
No, I wouldn't. I don't really have a bad case of imposter syndrome, I guess, because I don't have any ambitions in that area. And I have a pretty good sense of my own capabilities, what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. I don't require a lot of external validation. So it wasn't really imposter syndrome. It just was one of those things I just never thought about doing.
So, imposter syndrome. What do you mean by that? Wait a minute. Who have you been talking to? Who sent you? No, hang on. You found me out. I actually am an imposter. The real Toshmifune is being held in an underground bunker somewhere outside of Bisbee, Arizona.
That sounds like the plot to the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Are you Kimmy Schmidt?
Not as such.
Okay.
Which, by the way, is also an awesome show.
And season 4, the second half of season 4, or is it season 3? But whatever, the second half of the season comes out in January, so I'm so excited.
No spoilers. We're behind. We're a whole season behind, so no spoilers.
Oh, you got homework to do now.
Yeah.
Yes, and whenever I do encounter imposter syndrome, I go look for the real Toshmifune. I still haven't found the right bunker, but I've met a lot of interesting people. I wrote that joke, so I had to tell it.
Yes.
Oh, wow. I didn't even realize that you went into the next. Nice. It went over my head, like a lot of things do.
Check.
But just like how I would redo what I just did with trying to manage the show.
You can't manage the show with Tashi on it. That's not doable.
Live television, baby. Live television.
If you invite Toshmifune, be prepared to have your show go in different sort of directions than you expected.
Wait a minute. Where are you going with this? Hang on. See, this is why we have to do a scripted show because, if we just went, no, forget it. It has to be scripted.
I'd say that this is why I love guest shows for me because it's fun just seeing how the guests react to what I've set up. I always laugh. I always have a great time. I never know going into a Thursday night what's going to happen.
I used to have that same problem when I was still drinking. But anyway, moving on. Okay. All right. Let's get this train back on the track here.
If you were to do this again, doing Halfhill report again, what is the first thing you would do?
Yeah, I thought about this question a lot. There's just a lot of potential different answers. I mean, I already touched on the continuity thing, and I might have started keeping some sort of a database of show notes, like easily referenceable, so I could go back and find things quickly and track the story arcs. If we're talking to other podcasters here, and you do that a lot, and Fraz, you are so amazingly supportive. I need to throw this in here. You are so amazingly supportive of the whole podcast community. You're really just welcoming and supportive of everybody. So, I mean, if I'm talking to potential podcasters, people that are interested in podcasting, honestly, one thing I would have done at the beginning is I would have invested in a really good professional quality microphone right off the bat. At this point, I mean, we're a year in, I'm on my third mic. It's a Blue Yeti. I think it's pretty good, but I'm actually considering upgrading to a Shure. I think you run a Shure, don't you?
No, I'm on the Halfhill PR40. I went with that one because Leo Laporte uses it, and I know a few people who use the Halfhill, like Pat Krane,
right?
Kick Tripod, and it was one of those. I think I've got a deeper voice, so I've heard that the Halfhill goes for it, but I've heard a lot of good about the Shure.
Yeah, that's what I've been reading and heard a lot of really good stuff about the Shure. But honestly, I go back and listen to some of the early episodes, and I started out on my gaming headset. And at this point, I just cringe. I mean, there are times when I think, oh my God, I want to go take those down because, if people go and, that's the first thing they listen to, they're going to kind of wrinkle their nose and go, ew, what the heck is going on with this audio wise? If you're just starting out in podcasting and you think there's any chance at all you're going to get serious about it, go ahead and invest in the best quality microphone you can reasonably afford. I mean, it's not a replacement for content. It's not a replacement for, your passion for the show. I think it's kind of like curb appeal in real estate that, you can have great content, but if people tune in and the audio quality is dodgy, they may not give your content a chance, which is sad, but it's just the truth.
There is a kind of investment that when you make that, you both feel better. Like when I moved to the mics that I'm on right now, I feel better, but there's also I'm in now, so I'm not going to stop because of what I put into it. And it's that striving for better.
Yep.
Motivation.
And I would say, like, if you don't want to get a Shure or a Yeti or a Heil, one of the ones I love is the Samsung Q2U, or this is the Audio-Technica ATR 2100. And this can go between $40 to $60 on Amazon. And for a mic that can be USB or XLR, good value. In fact, I'm going to make this my on-the-go mic.
Nice.
In fact, I wasn't going to be on the Heil till probably this year, next year. But somebody that I know said, "Hey, what do you want for Christmas last year?" And I said, a Heil PR40, and Santa Claus brought a Heil PR40. So it was one of those. It blew me away.
Nice. Very cool.
You must have been a good boy all year.
I really tried to be.
Well, if I had known I was going to be a podcaster, I would have started taking voice lessons years ago, so I would feel more comfortable talking on the show. I'm just not very comfortable. But I do enjoy the writing. That's a lot of fun. Rizek in particular is based on a goblin named Zerba, who's my horde main. And I've been dabbling in RP with her for many years, so she kind of has a lot of backstory and a real personality. I would have liked to have been able to voice her, but that's never going to happen. So that's why we had to gender change her.
So I've told this story on the air before about Zerba, but Taliep, she writes the character of Zerba. She scripts that, but pretty much the whole rest of the script we collaborate on. But she writes Rizak. My original concept for Rizak was kind of like an Archie Bunker kind of foil for Tashi. Taliep had a different concept for it. And I said, okay, well, you go ahead and write it. And Rizak appears fully alive on the page. I've talked about this on other podcasts, but the moment I read Rizak, I knew who he was immediately. And all I had to do was give him a voice. She writes him perfectly every time. And it's a ton of fun.
I love how you write in like your responses to Rizak. You're like, Rizak. It's hilarious. I hearing Rizak and hearing his report, you're like, this isn't quite a report.
Well, he thinks it is.
Tosh is like, I think you're focusing on the wrong thing. But it sounds like a goblin. And Rizak just needs a what was the name of the wife in All in the Family? But just needs a those were the days.
Oh, Edith, yeah, Edith Bunker.
Yes,
that was originally how I envisioned Rizak, was Archie Bunker, kind of sitting in there, kind of criticizing Tashi and that type of thing. And Taliep very wisely said, "No, that's a one-trick pony. That's going to play out really, really fast." And she came up with this absolutely brilliant concept of him being another field reporter to be able to bring the world outside of Halfhill into Halfhill. He's a ton of fun to voice. He's one of my favorite characters on the show.
Because all the places he talks about are all real things in the game. I mean, I go to some place and draw on all the game elements and just add his layer of wanting to make money off it.
In our Twitter DM that we had, I came up with an idea for Rizak, but sadly it was not available.
Yeah, Fraz and I were kicking around on Twitter here earlier today, and he mentioned that. He typed it into Twitter, stranglethornveil.com, and I was like, oh man, that can't really be a thing, can it? Because it showed up as a link. So I clicked on the link, and there it was. I said, this domain is available, $2,000.
Rizek is probably selling it.
That is true. You're right.
Probably, you know what? He probably is.
It's like around here, the zoo is opening up their water park, and they were figuring out names for it. So they put all the names out saying, hey, here are all the possible names. They didn't buy the domains. So somebody that was smart bought the names and had to sell it back to the zoo. I was like, that is brilliant. I mean, it made the zoo angry, but I thought it was a brilliant opportunity.
Okay, this is out to you, chat room. What do you think? Should we start a GoFundMe campaign so that Rizak, he's not going to put his own capital into this, I'll tell you that right now. What do you think? Start a GoFundMe campaign so that Rizak can go buy the stranglethornveil.com URL?
And then what he can do then is he can buy a streaming service and buy a newspaper. He will buy the Halfhill Report and keep it an independent station.
Hang on. I said I wasn't going to do this, but I can't resist. So what are you guys thinking? I'm going to go into this business myself? No, quick in and out, quick turn profit. That's what I'm looking for. Newspaper, way too much work.
Yes, that's not his sort of thing. Not unless it's not profitable enough, that news Halfhill Report. There's no money to be made there.
Print media, it's dying, I'm telling you. It's dying.
I'm dying of laughter to this. And some stuff like that is some of the best stuff that happens during a show. What is the best thing that's happened to you since you started?
The community. Absolutely. 100%. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Allie's there. Everybody that we've met in the podcast community. The community is amazing. It's so supportive. That's just absolutely the best part of it, is having gotten to know so many great people. I mean, it's just amazing. And, and then, of course, the fame and the money. Who knew this could have been so lucrative? Honestly, this is the best investment I've made since buying cryptocurrency at its peak. Taliep and I, both have to travel with, entourage and bodyguards now.
Do you get the annual stipend from Blizzard?
Wait, hang on. There's a stipend? What are you talking about?
You have to have at least 1 year of podcasting. I forgot about that. So I now get a stipend. So I get paid every episode. That's really going to make my critics happy.
Really? I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, how else can we be so positive about a game like World of Warcraft amidst all the anger that's out there?
Hey, Fraz, do me a favor. Can you turn your head to profile for a moment for the camera? Yeah, okay, your nose is getting longer. I thought so. Okay, all right.
Man,
you can't fool Rizek,
No.
I may have been born during the day, but it wasn't yesterday.
Well, I have to agree with Toshmifune on this one, especially about the people. That's really been the best part. People and money. What could be better? Wait, you have more than one bodyguard, Tashi?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
All I got are gnome bodyguards, so maybe together, maybe they're 2 people. I had like 4.
3 gnomes in a trench coat? No, wait, that's taken already. Never mind.
and along with my missing segue, where do you see the Halfhill Report going in 2019?
Well, it's going to continue to be, as I described it before, how we brand it, a small town view of a very large world. It's always going to be pretty much Tashi in front of a mic telling the story that's occurring in the larger world of Azeroth and Warcraft from the view of a small town. We enjoy telling stories and introducing characters, so we look forward to discovering these characters along with the rest of you. And continuing some of our ongoing story arcs. This Saturday's show is going to be a real hallmark moment. We may even have a special guest star.
Ooh.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
How did you get Sylvanas on your show?
Yeah, that's not happening. Yeah, she just wanted way too much money. And Eamon is, will continue to, bring listeners the war news from the perspective of the ground troops. And Velmic will continue to review ends, and Rizak will... he'll continue to do whatever the heck it is he does. Tashi may finally take Professor Taliep's advice and do a little field reporting himself. She's been after them about that. As a matter of fact, I think it's hurting his grades. And we are seriously exploring the possibility of bringing other people onto the show. I think we're going to make a run at possibly doing some improv interviews, in-character improv interviews. Are you listening, Thunk? Thunk the peon, I'm talking to you right now.
I have to say, Thunk, that was a surprise. I've seen their Twitter, but to hear them last episode and their improv skills, I was in so much awe.
Yeah, he's amazing. He really, really is amazing. To stay in character throughout that whole thing, yeah. He's amazing.
I think Thunk would make a great addition to the Halfhill Report. I mean, it would be amazing. And you could get into some Azeroth political discussions with Thunk, like I was last week.
His character is so enchanting. It really, really is very, very enchanting. Yeah. And hey, listen, Thunk, I'm calling you out on the air here. That's probably uncool of me. But man, I would love to hang out with you. So, Taliep, you and I have talked about a lot of stuff about what we're going to do in 2019. What do you think?
I'm really excited about the possibility of having other people on the show playing their in-game characters or some other personas. I think that would add a whole different dimension to the show that would be fun. It's so easy to do it because Halfhill is such a crossroads in Pandaria, and we've always used the fact that anyone can pass through there to develop characters and add new elements to the show. Gives us the flexibility to have the guests, and it'll add some additional variety. Probably going to bring Professor Taliep back to keep a closer eye on Tashi. I think he's slacking off a bit on the schoolwork. Maybe doing a little too much partying. I wouldn't want him to fail his exams.
God. Okay, here we go. All right.
I have a little bit of a confession. I probably would have completed my exam sooner if I hadn't been slacking off with, just a little bit. No one heard that. No one heard that.
Actually, I don't know if you understand how podcasting works. Everybody heard that.
Oh, that's now on record.
Everybody.
Oh.
You could try the rabbit ate my...
Yeah, the rabbit ate my homework. And actually, there was one day where the old gods were ruining my bandwidth. I just spent time working on that, and also played a little bit of WoW.
There you go. That's a good one, too. I'm sure your professors will accept that one.
I would pay money to watch that. Literally have you walk up to a professor and say, the old gods were messing with my bandwidth, and therefore...
I had my course in March. I had a great professor who pushed me in a lot of areas. I was glad because there were a couple of things that I did not do my best work on. And I'm glad that they pushed back and said, no, you need to do better. It is helpful to hear that. And I got to meet them in person, and they were actually nicer in person than I was thinking. Because I kept getting these emails back. I'm like, oh no, my professor hates me. But like, no, actually, it was just, they didn't know if I was actually serious about finishing the course, or they didn't know if I was a student that was just putting in a grade.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But not that you would know anything about that, Professor Taliep.
Oh no. Never had that happen.
Well, before I get in trouble with the internet and any former professors of mine, I want to thank you both for joining me on FrazlCast.
Well, first of all, thanks for having us. This is this is our second time on the show now?
Yep.
It's a blast.
And probably the last.
Quiet you.
Oh, no.
You think he's going to invite you again?
I think he'll have me back. Wait. You cannot have Rizak and you back, but I can't think of any reason he wouldn't have me back.
Well,
if you can stay in character for an hour, I can do that.
My problem is not so much staying in character, it's getting out of character afterwards. That's actually happened to me. I've gone to Comic-Cons. I cosplay in a steampunk character with a very heavy received British accent, and I stay in character the entire day with this British accent. And, that's a long day if you've ever been to a con. I am in character the entire day. I go home, or I'll get in the car, I'll call Taliep, or I'll go to my daughter, and I can't break character. I can't break out of that voice. If you stay in that all day, it's a little hard to get out.
That's awesome. When you're out of character, where can we find you on the interweb?
Well, the Halfhill Report can be found wherever you get your podcasts, but you can go directly to the website at, I'm using my big boy radio voice now, so you can go directly to the site at halfhillreport.podbean.com, or you can get the link at one of the greatest podcast networks out there, weeklyawesome.com, where you can find other great podcasts like Dungeon Fables, and at least 167 other podcasts that Frazley does himself.
It's now 168.
It's now 168. Good. Okay.
And I'll also give you the 20 for the advertising.
Thank you. That'll barely cover it.
Yes.
You can catch us, our official Twitter at Halfhill Report. You can catch me on Twitter at Toshmifune1, the number 1. Long story behind that. I don't even want to go into it. And Professor Taliep at Taliep, and for reasons that I still can't fathom myself, we're on Facebook. You can email us at halfhillreport@yahoo.com. And we recently, and Frazley, I know you did this too, we recently followed Thunk de Peon. Once again, dropping your name there, buddy. We followed Thunk de Peon, and we opened up a Curious Cat page where people can ask Tashi questions. And Frazley, I think yours was the first one that went in.
Yes.
And we may, I'm not going to say anything about it here because we may use it on this weekend show. Don't stop. Blow the spoiler horn. Oh my God. Did that come out of you? Are you okay?
Yeah, that's just me. That's just the normal me. Oh, man, I've laughed so much tonight. I think with that, I need to head back to Iron Forge.
Thanks for having us on, Fraz.
Well, I'm back at my home of Iron Forge until we one day reclaim Nobragon. With Wintervale here, it's time for us to eat some delicious food. Prepare for your well-fed buff with Food and Fury Snacksroth Edition.
It's time to gather your sword and board. Let's enter the kitchen with Food and Fury. 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Food and Fury Snacksroth Edition, where we deliver you a Warforged snack each week with enough buffs to help you with your battle for Azeroth. Whether you've made roasted boar meat or you conjured a mage table, we welcome you to the feast. This is Snacksroth Edition, episode 18. I'm Michael Height. Today we have the right appetizer to get you through this winter's veil. But today, we have a date with bacon. But our friend Frazley just stopped by, and he has a bit of a fable for us today. Perhaps even a dungeon fable. So, Fraz, it's that magical time of the year. I was listening to this week's Frazley report. You know, you should give it a listen sometime. Coincidentally, the guy is a gnome by the name of Fraz. Small world, huh? I mean, tiny world. Close proximity of events. Never mind.
Oh, yeah? That's
no time to interrupt, man. I've got something important to tell you. Someday, maybe you'll be as well known as this podcaster.
I just wanted to talk about pickles and pancakes today.
1 second, Fraz. Okay, so anyway, the gnome in this week's episode loses faith in Winter's Veil. He gets visited by the ghost from Winter's Veil's past. This is to help him restore his faith in the world of Azeroth.
I know this! That's me! That's my show!
That's you? Why didn't you say so sooner?
Oh boy.
Fraz, if you were visited by a ghost of Winter's Veil, and we've established that you are in fact the Frazley, you aren't done yet. You have 2 more spirits.
No, don't worry. That was just my upstairs neighbor. Oh man, maybe my neighbor was the first ghost of...
Who wants to make a deal with Loneborn Samdi? You've been losing faith with your people because of a little war. I've seen many wars take many. I'll give you a gift. Let's just say I'm in the spirit this time of year. I charge you, snarky traveler, with taking Frazley to meet with Father Christmas in Orgrimmar. Maybe when you see, then you'll see. See you soon.
Fraz, I thought the squirrel turkey incident was rough. Alright, listen, I have an idea. I've heard a dungeon fable about an ogre suit, and I think I've got just the right person to ask. Let's swing on over to Dire Mall. She should be doing some research on her latest content. Mage Portal?
So much lore. Doors, trees, ogres. Where to begin? Maybe the king? I can't wait to document this all. Hey! Look who it is! And Fraz? A blood elf and a gnome in the same party. Now I've seen everything. Anyway, what are you guys doing here?
Hi, Allie. We are in the middle of being hunted by a holiday spirit who I thought was the priest from upstairs. He's Spirit 1 and Spirit 2 is a troll, but not from Trade Chat. And we have to visit Orgrimmar to meet with Father Xmas, so we can make the second spirit happy and I can see presents.
Fraz, the present.
Yeah, the present. That's what I said.
Fraz, you don't seem well. Maybe you should rest. Is he okay?
Well, alright, listen. Believe it or not, we've got the Loa of Death on our tails. Any chance you have that ogre suit handy from your last visit inside?
Well, it's my size and soulbound, but who am I to argue with logic or story progression?
Listen, we'll take what we can get. Thanks, Allie.
How do I look?
Oh, man. Oh, no, I think I'm going to be sick.
Dear God. I mean, it's not so bad. That one's a little odd looking. I guess you'll maybe pass for an ogre, sort of. Thanks, Allie. We owe you one. Maybe we'll see you next time near the Caverns of Time. I'm sure Fraz won't cause any issues with the space-time continuum.
Bye, guys. Have fun storming the castle. It would take a miracle. Bye.
All right, here we go. Mage Portal. Perfect spot. Right over there is Father Winter. Come on, man, let's go say hi. Maybe you can just kind of stop jiggling around so much.
Welcome, child who travels from far. No need for that odd suit, although many of the people of Orgrimmar may feel differently. Thank you for seeking me out. Perhaps you can stay for a few minutes and watch the young Orkling share in the festivities. We are not as different as you may think. Take some gifts from this tree today. Take with you this blood elf, so he can understand your Winter's Veil, and maybe in good time, you can remove this cocoon and show your natural blue hair. Odd little people. I think he's ready for the third spirit, who'll be needing to teach about the future. Alright, Father Christmas, any goblin souls need replacing? Let's send him the third spirit.
Oh, look at the children enjoying being on Azeroth and having fun. It's not perfect, but it's awesome, and that makes me feel gnomerific. Sweet!
Well, between these Wintervale walkabouts and these spirits, I'm hungry for some snacks. Because you know what? Sometimes Conjure Mage snacks just won't do. Let's see what's happening in the Snacksaroth kitchen. Come on, Fraz, we have some work to do. And now for the dish. All right, guys. This dish is out of control. It's a ricotta stuffed bacon-wrapped dates. Now, you hear dates, you're probably saying to yourself, dates? Isn't that what my grandparents eat? Now, you have to trust me. They have that chocolatey aftertaste that gives you the most amazing combination of sweet, salty, crunchy, bacony goodness that is going to make you want to get on that bacon train and ride it till morning. All right, it's go time. For this dish, you're going to need a package of bacon, a package of dates, and a small container of ricotta cheese. That's it. Now, this is what you're going to do. You're going to preheat that oven to 450 degrees. Then it's time to start prepping those dates. You take your dates, you cut them the long way, almost like you would cut open a hot dog bun. With your hand, you could open them up and then take out each of the pits. This may seem like a lot of work, but it is worth it when you are done. Now on a clean cutting board, take your bacon and cut each piece in half, basically giving you twice the number of slices you had before. Now with a spoon, take your ricotta cheese and put it into a Ziploc bag. In the bottom left or bottom right corner, you're going to snip the end of the corner with a scissor, leaving a small hole. Now with a slight bit of pressure, you're going to squeeze a little bit of cheese into the center of each of the dates. Now wrap the ricotta-filled date around a piece of bacon and secure it with the toothpick going through the belly of the beast. Lastly, arrange all of your dates on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. You could always do it with aluminum foil or without, but it makes it for an easier release and an easier cleanup. Make sure you give yourself a little bit of space in between each one so they can get nice and brown. Now, carefully put them into the oven and roast them for about 15 to 20 minutes until the bacon gets nice, brown, and crispy. When time's up, carefully remove them from the oven, remove the toothpicks, and place them in a plate next to your computer for your gaming session. If you'd like to, you could remove the toothpicks and place new ones in their place. If you want to go heroic, well, let's face it, these already are heroic. But if you want to go mythic, because some of you want to go mythic, get some slivered almonds. In each one of these dates, after you pump in the ricotta cheese, put in one slivered almond. When you bite down on that delicious, crunchy bacon with that soft date, you'll get that nice little surprise in the middle, just like a gift during Winter's Veil. All right, my friend of the Grummels, so I think that's going to do it for our Food Buff for All. With a little prep time before you log on, you can enjoy this delicious, crunchy, sweet, salty, oh so satisfying snack of the bacon world that'll make you want to skip those chips and enjoy this delicious, sweet, bacony goodness. If you get a chance, check out our food and cooking podcast, Food and Fury. This week on Food and Fury, we're doing another appetizer. We're doing a delicious, cheesy artichoke pie for that perfect app for this holiday week. We seem to be loving appetizers lately, If you go back another week, you can check out our special Christy Golden episode where we did a special burrata appetizer as well. No deal with Boswamdi required. You can find this show, social media, and this recipe and many more at foodandfury.com. And if you get a chance, give us a shout on iTunes even if your blood runneth blue. This week, we had the amazing Allie from Dungeon Fables, and of course, the only gnome with Horde street cred, Frazley. For the Horde.
For the Alliance.
And for the food, for me, for Frazley, and for Allie, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Ah, come on. Do you ever have it where you have a word in your head and you want to say it and then your mouth just stops like, rah! Oh, and by the way, Allie, you are awesome. Merry Winter Veil to everybody and to everyone, an awesome squee! Well, that has been another packed episode of FrazlCast. Buxley of Ask Buxley, which you hear at the end of episodes, left a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. They said, I really enjoy this podcast. Lots of great discussion about Warcraft. It's very entertaining and informative. Thank you, Buxley. That means a lot. I am honored that you let us have Ask Buxley on FrazlCast. Oh, and Buxley, thank you for sending me that video called Grandma Got Ganked Playing World of Warcraft. And that just made me laugh my butt off. That was amazing. I have a link in the show notes to the video. It is awesome. And it is absolutely in Buxley style. Thank you to Amanda, Tom, and Marty for the bits during my Dark Iron stream on Wednesday. And thank you to Epicinsanity for the sub and the bits on my Friday Dark Iron Paladin leveling stream. Every donation, bit, and sub is greatly appreciated. This is a labor of love, and your monetary encouragement helps a lot. I also want to express my sadness to hear that Forbes of Nobergun Forever passed away. They were definitely passionate about gnomes. I wish you all a very merry winter veil. Please cherish these moments with your family and friends. Make every moment count. I am Frazley, and you can find the show at gnomepodcast.com. Until next week, be awesome. Ooh, I wonder what Great Father Winter left under the tree for me. Joachim, another eggnog!
Fraz, don't you think you've had enough?
Keep it coming. You know, it's tough being a content creator, and so many people seem to be upset about WoW. The Tides of Vengeance Survival Guide had more dislikes than likes. I try to be excited about stuff, but people seem to be upset with WoW. Sometimes I wonder, why do I do it?
Hey, Joachim, can I get my usual Wintervale eggnog, please?
I haven't seen you around here. My name is Frazley.
Clarence. I like to come here when I'm not getting orders from above.
Clarence. I've heard that name in a movie somewhere. And orders from above? Like the light? Are you an angel? Oh, my gnomeness! Clarence is the angel and It's a Wonderful Life. You're an angel!
Nah, I work above the inn. We run a player guide YouTube channel, producing weekly videos about what happens in the game.
Oh, I thought you were an angel. Your priest gear and such. But it's a good thing you are a priest. I need a healer. Late at night I toss and I turn, feeling kind of down.
How come?
I've been thinking, what is WoW? Maybe I won't play it no more.
The patch just came out. Wintervale is happening. It's a good time to be playing, and with what's coming in future patches, it's exciting.
Yeah, but so many people seem to be unhappy. I've been looking at my 2019, and it's made me evaluate what my priorities in life are. I left WoW for a bit before. I want to have fun, but it's tough when people aren't seeming to enjoy the game.
What do you like about WoW, though?
Well, I like the community. I love collecting things in game like toys, achievements, collectibles, mounts, and transmog. I love meeting people, talking with them on FrazlCast, and then doing the news here each week. I love being in a world that is growing, is always persistent. Sometimes you hear about all the things people don't like about the game, and then you look at how many games there are to play. I'm kind of thinking of unsubscribing and moving on to other things where people are more happy. It just gets me down some days. And I'm a gnome, so that's saying something.
And this is where we will pause the episode for dramatic effect, and also to add a cliffhanger. We should add a dun 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 effect right now. Okay, let's do it. Will Frazley unsubscribe from WoW? Find out next week in It's a Wonderful Game, Part 2.
Hey FrazlCast listeners, Allie here. Do you enjoy Warcraft dungeons? Ever wonder what the stories are behind them? I've got you covered. Check out Dungeon Fables, a delicious bite-sized podcast about these stories. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud. Take care.
FrazlCast is a fan podcast that covers Blizzard games. We are not affiliated with Blizzard Entertainment. Views expressed by the host and guests are their own. Some of the art, music, and sound effects come from Blizzard Games and are owned by Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. No copyright infringement is intended.
Want more awesomeness every week? Visit weeklyawesome.com. Weekly podcasts to make your week better. Remember to smile and be awesome.
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio. Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.